ICE Learning Center, inserting windows and doors. In this video, we explain how to include windows and internal openings such as doors into a simulation model. On the left-hand side of the user interface, you can see a palette which contains a number of objects. There's two different window types, a standard window and a detailed window model, and also an opening. Here it should be pointed out that the detailed window model is only included in the expert edition of ICE. If we want to include an object, we select it through a double click and then hover over the line we want to include it until the line has been selected, and then insert it with another mouse click. By double clicking onto a line, we can open up a view of the surface which the line represents. This view that we can see is from the inside. By double clicking onto a window, we can open up on the left-hand side a property page which shows different geometrical information about the window. This information can be changed, and changes are updated into a graphical representation. You can also adjust the window size and position graphically by simply click and drag. By double-clicking onto a window, a new form opens up which shows detailed information about the properties of the window. On top of this form, we can see the glazing properties which are associated with the window. In this case, it's 3-paint glazing system. Underneath that is information about the ventilation opening, which is included in the window, both in terms of its control and the schedule, similar to the detailed window model. This feature is, however, only included in the expert edition of ICE. We also have frame information. The window size which we've specified in the first place is actual structural opening. Here we specify how much of the structural opening comprises of frame and what U value it has. It is also possible to change the twist and the tilt of a window. This is very useful because it allows the inclusion of non-vertical windows into vertical facade surfaces. Since one ICE convention is the only vertical facade surfaces, this increases the flexibility of the program. In this part of the interface, we specify data associated with integrated window shading. Integrated window shading is attached to the window and could be items such as external or internal lines. We specify the device itself. It's controlled and necessary to schedule. We also have the option to specify external window shading. External window shading elements such as side fins, armor keys, or a balcony. By right-clicking onto a window, we have the option to convert it to a resource. A resource is a very useful feature if the same window appears several times in the model. We then only have to specify the window once and can insert it in other locations. If we later on change the properties of the resource, all the windows which already have been included in the model will also be updated. It is therefore advisable to select a name which doesn't contain information such as the window area or the glazing properties in its name, because this may cause confusion if we later on change the properties of this resource. In this case, we've selected Window Movie Project as a name for the resource. By closing this form and going back to the palette, we can now see that a new object, Window Movie Project, can be found in the palette. We select this object by double-clicking onto it and we insert it into the surface. We repeat this process a number of times. In a similar way like we've included windows into the model, we also include openings such as doors. We double-click onto the object and drop it into the associated surface. By double-clicking onto the line which represents the surface, we get a 2D view of the surface. By double-clicking on the door, we can see in the property sections geometrical information about the opening. By double-clicking onto the opening, another window opens up which allows us to specify non-geometrical properties of the opening. At the top, there's the definition of the construction associated with the opening, and underneath is an opening schedule. In the standard edition of ICE, an opening will always be closed. It's only in the expert edition that the user can specify opening schedules. However, a certain leak is always associated with the opening. This is required to solve the airflow model, which is also contained in the model. When an opening is defined to be opened, bidirectional airflow through the opening can be calculated. Radiation is also considered. Also note that an opening only needs to be included once into a model. In the adjacent zone, ICE automatically includes an opening into the relevant surface. In a similar way like we converted windows to resources, we can also convert openings to resources. In this case, we specify that the opening which we've just created may be a resource with the name Door Internal Movie Project. When opening up the palette, we can see this new object, which we've just created. By double-clicking onto the object, we select it, and we can drop it into a number of surfaces. It's also possible to view the windows and openings which we've just included into the model in 3D view. To do that, we go to the 3D tab. We zoom into the model, and by cutting off the Z-plane in a positive direction, we can see all the windows and openings. Thanks for watching. We hope you found this video useful. You will find more videos if you go to Help and Process Guides. There is a whole series of videos stored there. Under Help, you will also find our Getting Started guide as a PDF document. Also, never hesitate to contact support or write to our forum for further questions or support. And remember to check out our website. Under Events, there you can find upcoming courses. We frequently host beginners and advanced courses on various topics.